In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make a grouped frequency distribution in Google Sheets. I'm using Google Sheets because it's an open educational resource. It works, as far as I know, exactly like Excel in this. Um, so everything that I do here, you should be able to do in Excel. So let's go ahead and get started with this example. I have a table of data here from one of my example problems, and I'm going to find the minimum value and the maximum value. And then that's going to help me set up my intervals here. And um, then I'm going to find the frequency of each interval, the relative frequency of each interval, and the cumulative frequency, which should add up to be the same as my total when I'm done here. So let's go ahead and get started. To find the minimum value, I'm going to type an equal sign, which is what you do when you put a formula in. And then there is a function called min. I'm going to select my data set. I'm going to close it off there. And then I'm going to, for the maximum, find equals max. I'm going to highlight my data set and close it off. And so I need to go from 45 as my lowest lower bound to 84 needs to be included in my upper bound. In this example, we were told to use intervals that were 5 wide. So just going to go ahead and copy these until I get to an upper bound that's greater than or equal to 84. So there's 59, 64, 69, 74, 79, 84, and I'm going to stop. There's my intervals. Now, if I want to put together the interval in a single cell, I'm going to have to use the concatenate feature. And I'm going to put together 40, the value in that cell with, and I'm going to make a string here where I'm going to put a space, a dash, a space, and then close my string. And then this cell, I'm not typing those values in because I want to use this formula to be able to copy down here. And there's all my intervals written out that way. Now, if I want to find the frequency of things in this interval, I'm going to have to write a conditional statement here. And I'm going to use the COUNTIFs formula because that allows me to use multiple conditions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my data set and I'm going to make the references there absolute by having the dollar signs in front of them. I just hit F4 to do that. That way those references won't change when I copy the formula. And I'm going to put in quotes here that I want greater than or equal to, close my quotes, put a space, an ampersand sign, which is going to give me the value that is in a cell reference. And I'm going to use my cell reference for my lower bound, comma, and then I'm going to have to give it my data set again. And I'm going to have to hit F4 again to make those references absolute. Then less than or equal to, close that up, give it a space, an ampersand, and my upper bound, close it up, and it's going to count for me. And then I can go ahead and drag that down like so. And I already have a summation formula in here from earlier. You'll have to write that. So you'll just write sum of, and it's probably going to suggest the range for you, but if you can just highlight it like so, there you go. And we do have 25 pieces of data here because our grid is 5 by 5. It will not matter if you have things in rows and columns like this, or if you have everything in one row or in one column. All of this will still work. To find the relative frequency, we're going to take this cell, and we're always going to divide it by this cell. So I'm going to have to put $ there and there so that that cell reference won't change when I drag it down. And then like so. And I've fixed this column to have 2 decimal places. And then to get my cumulative frequency, I'm going to have to put the first value in. It won't have a formula for it, but for everyone after that, it's going to be the sum of the, here, let's write this as this. We could just going to add them on. So this cell plus that cell above it, like so. And we're just going to copy that formula down, and we get to 25 at the bottom, which matches our 25 that's there. So you have to type the first one in because there is no cell above it, but then after that, you can use the formula to just continue to add the frequency on that row to the cumulative frequency that was above it, and you'll end up with a cumulative frequency that's equal to your total number of values. I want to check here the relative frequency. The sum of it should always be 100% or very close to it because of rounding error. We've got some more examples here that we could do the same way. So let's go and try some more here. So we're again going to find the minimum value. Try this again. Equals min of this data set and equals max of this data set. And this time around, we were told to use a width of 2. So 3, 5, this is 4, 6, and we just need to get up to a group that will include 9. So there it is, 9 to 10. We don't have to use the interval. I was just showing you how to do that. So let me get rid of that since that's not necessary. To get our frequency, we're going to do count ifs and then our range data here. And we want to make those references absolute. Less, greater than or equal to our upper bound. Absolute references less than or equal to our upper bound. Close it off, enter. Go. Our relative, we're going to find our sum of this, and it's going to suggest the formula for us. And that's correct, and we have 24 because we have 2 by 12. So we're going to take equals this, and I didn't show you before that if I take this cell reference and I do F4 on it, just on that cell reference, it'll give me what I want, and drag that down like so. And we're going to want to fix these to 2 decimal points like so. And then sum of, there we go, and see that's 100%. Then my cumulative, put my 3 in there, and I'm going to put equals this plus this, and drag it down. And we get our 24 that matches. So let's do 2 more examples here. Equals min of this data set and equals max of this data set. And we were told to go by 50s here. So my lower bound is 0. This is 50. This is 49. And this is 99. And I need to go up to an upper bound that includes 336 below it. So 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 to 350. There we go. Not included. So again, I don't need this interval column. It's just there if you wanted to make it. Now let's do our COUNTIFs. And we're going to have a data set absolute. We're going to have greater than or equal to our lower bound, data set absolute less than or equal to our upper bound. Close it off. There we go. Going to have a total here. Sum of go. And there are 20 there. And the relative frequency is going to be equals that divided by my total, with my total being an absolute reference. And then let's fix that to 2 decimal places. Check the sum here. Adds to 100%. I'm going to put in my first one, and then equals this plus that. Drag it down, and we get our total of 20. And one last example here. Max of this. So our lower bound here is going to start at 63, and we were told to go by tens here. These are grades, so it wouldn't even hurt to go say 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and so on. So let's just do that all the way up to 90 to 99. There's no 100s. But if I wanted to make sure that 100 was included, I would have to go 61 to 70 and 71 to 80 and so on. 81 to 90, 91 to 100. Let me just check and see which way the assignment told you to group them. Yeah, it did say to use 60 to 69 and 70 to 79. So we will do that. And we do not have anything above 97, so that's good. There were no 100%, so we don't need a class above that just for 100%. Let's go ahead and let's delete that interval column since we don't need it. And we're going to calculate our frequency with the count ifs. Got our data set. F4, comma, greater than or equal to space, ampersand, lower bound, comma, data set, F4, comma, less than or equal to space, ampersand, upper bound, close it off, drag it down, total it, there we go. There are 24 there, equals this reference divided by this reference, absolute reference. Because these are 8s, let's go ahead and make this to 3 decimal points, like so. And then that would be to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. If we add that together, that adds to exactly 100%. And this one's going to be 3. Then we're going to take 12 plus this 3. And we're going to drag and drop. And we get our cumulative frequency comes out to be the same at the end as our number of things in our sample. So there's 4 examples for you on how to do this with Google Sheets or Excel. Excel, you can do this the same way, and you can make a grouped frequency distribution this way. All right, that's it for this video. Come back and talk about some of the ways to display data with graphs in some of the additional videos for this section.